here again. Second time this week as we smoke Dana White's Contender Series. Courtesy of Moneyline Mike, me. Now we're back for a absolutely stacked card, which was a complete culture change watching the Dana White Contender Series tape, and then watching tape for this fight, which has a lot of high-level guys on it. So without further ado, we'll get right into it.
Yeah, I did catch some good bets on Dana White Contender Series, though,
Yeah,
Michael. So I'll give myself a pat on the
put
back.
some solid slips out for gems, and podcast was a success. I'll just go through this real quick. I'm gonna this fight there's no odds yet. I'm not even sure if we're gonna be able to bet it since it's Dana White Contender Series and that's exhibition MMA. So I just think Adiras is stacked up, and I think if there is a line, he's gonna be like minus 600. So that's all I really have to say about that. Then I know there's another
I
fight
didn't,
added for Dana White Contender
I
Series,
didn't,
and I didn't
I
even
didn't
look at
tape
it.
them. I didn't tape them because they're not. The odds aren't on the books
Yeah, I
for
figure
this.
I
For the
I was going I was making the graphics according to the Tapology and didn't even look at odds yet. So I ended up putting this in. But there's another fight too that's gonna be on the card. But I don't know if you're gonna be able to bet on it, so we'll just pass through. And we'll start where the actual fights start. We'll start with Kareem Silva taking on Dion Barbosa. So this is a rematch fight. They actually fought in 2019 on the regional scene, and Barbosa won a unanimous decision. But Karine Silva, decent striking, but overall her jiu-jitsu game is her weapon. She's a black belt with a crazy guard. She can pull out omoplatas and shit. She has a good defensive BJJ as well. Uh, Goes to rubber guard when she's on her back. She holds people in. She's more or less just straight BJJ, but she does have some decent kicks and striking as well. And then you have Barbosa, another BJJ um, extremely good BJJ player. She's been a judo practitioner since she was 7. She was a black belt by the age of 18 on the Brazilian national.
represented
Yeah, the Brazilian national judo
represented
team.
Brazil in the Olympics.
Yeah,
In the
2012
Olympics.
Olympics. She super high pedigree. We took her in her last fight, and it was against Diana Belbita, and that was pretty effortlessly that she got the dub for us there. Um, she has RH striking, but she's mostly using it for entries and to get inside for crisp judo trips or throws or getting to the ground for BJJ. She's a strong girl, but pretty big arms, uh, muscles around there, and it helps her get back up and also on those trips, like I was saying before, she's so smooth with it. If you run back the Miranda Maverick fight, she has an absolutely wicked throw in that I kept replaying. But overall, you know how I rock with these girl cards or these girl fights on the cards. Live betting is my overall angle, especially because these girls are off of a rematch. Well, obviously not immediate rematch, 6 years removed, but they still have fought each other. That doesn't just go away. Um, Prediction wise, I'm gonna very slightly lean with the dog here and Diane Barbosa. She's already won. I think Barbosa's stronger. I think she has the better trips and takedowns. And despite Karine Silva's wicked guard in the BJJ, I personally think Diane Barbosa's defensive jiu-jitsu and top pressure will do enough to keep her out of harm's way. It's going to be a really high level um, jiu-jitsu war going on. So I'm not telling you to go out and snipe. You know how I am. I like taking the live lines and finding the value there. But I do think this fight is way closer than minus 225 Karine Silva. I do give her the striking edge, but and maybe the submission edge. But overall grappling strength and well-roundedness, I'm probably gonna give to Don Barbosa. So I'm gonna side with her here prediction wise, but I probably won't bet it until it's live. I do kind of lean. I don't know why I feel that these girls are gonna come out pretty crazy with their submissions and stuff like that. An under may be appropriate on this fight. If I bring the odds up right now for the under on this fight, we're looking at definitely plus money because you know how the girl lines usually are. The under 2.5 plus 200. I like the shot on that. Maybe fight not to go the distance. As more of like a longer shot odds play if you want to play around. If you're not betting live or you're not taking money lines, but I'm gonna lean Barbosa. How do you feel, Unc?
So, like I said, Barbosa, I know from she competed on the Olympic team for judo, represented Brazil, has really nasty ground game. She actually retired from MMA for a couple years and came back, so she hasn't had as much damage as someone as Karine Silva, who I believe I looked up has like twice as many fights. Yeah, she has like twice as many fights as Diane Barbosa has total. Um, actually a little bit more. So, the question really is in that layoff, you know, did Diane Barbosa lose a step? Did she gain a step? I mean, what was she doing? We have seen her back in the UFC, and we have seen her be successful. You know, like Mike said, we took her previously, and she cashed for us. Um, but she's been shown with people that can strike heavy and pressure to be a little bit timid, and I don't really know which way to lean this way in the fight because Karine Silva's ground game and her guard and what she can do is very nasty as well. I mean, judo and BJJ are two different sports. I mean, but a lot of the same principles cross, and I think like the grappling just cancels out. Like Mike said, that Ogashi that Barbosa hit against Miranda Mavic was absolutely beautiful. It's one of the more beautiful trips I've seen in a couple of years by someone using pure judo. I mean, it looked like Kayla Harrison. So, as I play, I'm the DraftKings odds guy, and as we record this, as of Wednesday, 6:13 at night, 6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, the not a lot of lines have really dropped for this fight. So I'm gonna lean. If Barbosa's the underdog, so she's gonna have a plus spread, and I'm gonna lean more with her spread just because I'm kind of like I'm flailing on the fact that if Karine Silva pushes the pace and the striking, Dan Barbosa, unless she counters with grappling offensively, she could lose a decision. So I'm leaning more of the spread, but like I think overall Barbosa gets it done. But the overall fact that Karine Silva went and had so many more MMA fights and experienced different looks and positions and things like that just has me where I don't think I don't think she should be minus 225, but I also don't think this is going to be a cakewalk at all. So I'm looking at Barbosa's spread on like a split decision of this fight. But the way these two girls fights, like you said, a finish could be live.
Yep, so we'll keep it pushing from the girls' fight to keep this stacked card going. And we have Nursultan Ruziboev taking on Brian Battle. So Brian Battle, he's fought damn near all weight classes. He started off at heavyweight, then light heavyweight, all the way down to 170. Um, I guess he can't make 170 anymore, so he's back up here at 185, taking on um, one of the taller, if not the tallest middleweight on the roster, um, Ruziboev. Ruziboev began karate at around 7 years old. Ridiculous 47 professional fights. He fights out of Philly with the Sean Brady camp with him, Pfeiffer, and some elite grapplers over there. Um, you could see his karate background in his striking. He has long reach and he has some pinpoint strikes. He has some.
Elite grappling. If he's coming out of Sean Brady's camp,
Yeah,
elite grappling. Sorry to cut you off.
yeah. He has been shown in the grappling realm to get taken down somewhat easily and not display the best takedown defense. But he does have a great guard and has submissions off of his back. He actually has 20 submissions in his career, which is pretty wicked. Um, Obviously all the fights you probably can't verify, but 40 plus fights, you're not seeing a lot of guys out there like with that coming in and not having 40 years on them. So that goes to him. And then on Brian Battle's side, he's good at clinching. He's overall a well-rounded guy. He has good ground game as well. Has wins at pretty much every method you can think of. Uh, but a lot of stuff I have seen is questionable. Well, him coming back up a class is probably going to be better for him because he looked drained down a weight class. but I've seen him get tossed bad by Randy Brown before. Like I've seen him slammed pretty bad by Gilbert or who Gilbert Urbina that we just capped recently. Uh, I've seen him taken down in some tough spots, and I think Ruziboev is strong enough to not get thrown around by Brian Battle. It might be getting clinchy at times, but I think Brian Battle leaves a lot to be desired in the striking realm, and Ruziboev takedown defense could be could be a sign in this fight or something that could help Brian Battle out. But I'm not liking the line at -170 on Brian Battle. I think all the values on Ruziboev, and I'm gonna lean him to win a close, hard fought decision, like a 29-28. Maybe one round that he spends like up against the cage or possibly on the ground. But I don't really see Brian Battle as deadly enough to finish Nursultan Ruziboev like whatsoever. And I could see Ruziboev getting a finish, but at the same time, he couldn't get a couple guys out of there that he should have. So I think Ruziboev is the play here as a dog money, and you don't really have to pry too much into props and stuff because he's already dog money. He opened at like plus 120 around there and went up and came back down, so it's still at a good value price. What do you feel about this one, Unc?
So Brian Battle is a junkyard dog when it comes to fighting on the feet. He will give it to you. Same time, I really think that his hips and the way that he has his grappling and wrestling game is just like not built for the best grappling guys. And Ruziboyev's big. He's big. He's huge, like you said. So it's sometimes harder for him to get a takedown. But God, he's wicked on the ground, man. I mean, yeah, he has been shown to be susceptibly taken down. Like he has over 20. I think he has 20 submissions at least. I don't have the stat, but
Yeah, 20.
it's something like he has 20 submissions. Like Brian Battle does not. He wants to be in your face, messy, bloody. He doesn't like being on the ground, man. Like his skills aren't bad, but he does not want to be there. Like you can tell watching his fights, he's most comfortable when he's standing in front of people cracking on them. And I think that Rizaboyev is going to make this so dirty, and they're going to be doing mat returns and all types of shit, hitting the mat that he's gonna. I think Rizaboyev could get the sub, or he wins the decision. So I'm on Rizaboyev in this. If Brian Battle wins, he's gonna have to really put together some like thick lumber, hard combination shots. Like it's not gonna be like a one pop shot to put Rizaboyev out. And it's like Brian Battle's been shown before, like as the longer the fight goes on, he can't do that like the the pop that he has in the first round or two. So I'm taking Rizaboyev, and I think that he's going to get him down. And Ryan Battle does not like being on the ground. So
Yep. So we'll keep it going. We got Go Edson Barbosa taking on Drakkar Klose here in this week's version of the retirement home fight. So we have Edson Barbosa coming off a nice layoff, over a year layoff, after fighting back-to-back 5-round battles with Lerone Murphy and Sadiq Yusuf, 1-1 in those. But comes in here, is at 155. He's in insane shape, 5-inch reach advantage in this fight. He has nasty leg kicks. It's the usual Edson Barbosa. If you know MMA, you just know. And if you want to look it up, you can just look up Edson Barbosa, and you're probably going to see him taking guys' legs off. But then you have Drakkar Klose, former state champion wrestler in high school, and has some collegiate experience wrestling, but not really using it in the UFC. He mostly wants to land that strike, mostly a striker style on the feet. He's coming off a brutal finish loss against Alvarez, and he got sat down by like a jab in that one too. So usually when you're looking at these older guys like Edson Barbosa around 40 years old, and then Drakkar Klose at 37, even like Barbosa, you're looking at like durability comparisons and like Edson Barbosa's older, but I genuinely think he's more durable and has a better chin and a better overall game than Klose. I think Barbosa is pretty much better everywhere. I think there will be moments if Klose could try to put some pressure, but the way that he leaves his legs wide and out there with his base, I think that he might be getting chewed up by some leg kicks from Edson Barbosa. So I don't know about that forward pressure. I'm gonna lean with Edson Barbosa here. Obviously, these guys are older, so I'm not saying the hammer and minus 160 is getting. I don't really know how to perceive that. It might get closer towards the time of the fight, but in a fight between two guys 37 plus, I'm gonna take the guy who has been shown, and this is 3 rounds for him. He's been going five his last two times, so I don't know. This drop in competition, I think Edson Barbosa gets it done for us here on the cards. Maybe even a late finish, but I'm gonna lean on the cards. What about you, Unc?
I'm going the other way, man, because I know I know sometimes I get repetitive, but it's my catchphrase. Been watching this for a long time. I know I watch Tim Barboza since the start, and I watched a lot of Drakkar close. And the last couple fights, Edson Barbosa has lost his initial step. He still can kick. He still has the kicks and has his kickboxing, but it's not as fast as it was, and it's in like they say like the last thing to go is like power, but like Edson had power, but he never relied on power. It was the craftiness of being able to land the strike in a different type of manner than people were used to. Spinning head kicks, spinning body kicks, like leg strikes to the calves, ankles and thighs. Like he did stuff that people weren't doing. But I watched his last couple fights, like those 5 rounders and everything else, and I'm I feel like I'm watching Father Time just slowly drift away. And Jakar Close, his thing has always been like to wrestle, grind, punch in, and I think that he's still in good shape. I think Edson Barboza is in fantastic shape for his age, but watching him the last couple fights, like I said, like he's a step behind from what he used to be. I think that he's just slowly fading away. And I think that Jakar Close, who a guy that is in still decent shape and can wrestle, is not the best matchup for, like an aging Edson Barbosa. I don't like the matchup at all, and I'm gonna go with Jakar Close to get a decision. He's gonna just like lay on Barbosa and punch him a lot, and that's how I see this going. Like, honest to God, and it sucks for me to say, I really don't want to say it. I don't see Edson Barbosa winning by KO like in any way because the leg kick that he's thrown in 2025 is not the same leg kick from 2021. I really sadly was like the last couple fights like because I lost money. I bet on him. I watched him. I was like, damn. I'm like this he's faded. I'm like, it's time to get him in one of the other organizations. Send him over to PFL. So I'm taking the wrestler dirty grinder guy for Drakkar Close in this fight.
All right, we're split over there. Unc on the dog money here. I'll keep her pushing. We got Chase spent too much time gooning this Camp Hooper, taking on Alexander Hernandez. So
Did he say that?
yeah, he said it after his last fight. He said spent too much time gooning this camp. My forearms are sore or something like that. Right after the fight.
Oh.
But yeah, Chase spent too much time gooning this camp. I'll make this one quick. Anthony Hernandez hasn't been subbed a lot in his career, so I think only one time, and that was from Money Marcano. Who Chase Hooper actually lost by a decision in the early days of his career in a grappling match. But that was early kid Chase Hooper. Every time you see Chase Hooper enter the octagon, he's adding something new to his toolbox. He's training with some of the best. Um, Even though he didn't finish Jim Miller is a super vet, and he had Jim Miller doing the splits for like a full round. So I don't know. I think in the grappling realm and on the feet too, Chase Hooper's gonna have an answer for whatever Alexander Hernandez brings to the table. I know Alexander Hernandez is pretty well rounded. Um, he was put into some bad positions in some of his last previous fights. I just think Chase Hooper here minus 335. You're getting. I guess it's not crazy steep. It's probably gonna get steeper, but I think Chase Hooper edges out a decision again by using grappling, taking the back, and eating up minutes that way. And I think he can land some stuff on the feet. And there's always live for Chase Hooper's submission, and that's like the Chase Hooper submission odds actually kind of stood out to me because you're getting them at like plus 200 for a Chase Hooper submission when that's usually his path. But I think it's because of the Jim Miller fight that was a decision that they're starting to
What
pull
book?
back on the odds. But Fandle,
Vandal. Okay. They have their they have the props posted.
yeah. Um,
Okay.
So yeah, I'm gonna take Chase Hooper by decision here. What about you, Unk?
I'll bet double chance Chase Hooper sub decision. Well, I'll bet Chase Hooper by sub in every fight he's in until he's like 30. Like no matter what it is. So but the play which has not dropped on DraftKings yet is Chase Hooper by sub or decision. Like Alexander Hernandez been around, had some hype, been up, been down, but like he doesn't really do anything like phenomenally well. I mean, he's not world class striker. He's not like he was a good wrestler, but not. I mean, I remember when he was supposed to be like the man, and that's not what he was. And Chase Hooper has been leaps and bounds at his young age as compared to like when Alexander Hernandez came in here. But Chase Hooper showed like super vet Jim Miller, he can hang in there. So my thing is the unorthodox setups of the way that Chase Hooper sets up his submissions, which like nobody else can do because he has that type of flexibility, just is always live for a sub. Like watch the armbar from the back take, watch the knee bar from if he has his waist locked, watch the knee bar. Like he just does such creative stuff that other people do not do. So submission decision double chance is the main way to go there, but I will bet his sub every fight until he's about 30 years old because he's done stuff that nobody else has done in MMA and in MMA, and he's done setups one has done in MMA before. So I will bet this kid submission every fight for the next like 10 years.
Yep. So we're in agreement there, and we'll keep we'll keep this one pushing. Then next bout we got another women's fight. We got Lupita Godinez taking on Jessica Andrade. So you know how I feel about these women's fights, especially the close ones like this. Live bet is usually the angle I like to take because you really don't get a feel for these girls until the first couple minutes, and you're more than likely gonna get a full 15 out of these. So you can get multiple angles. Uh, I'm gonna lean Lupita Godinez just because I think she has more to offer. I think Jessica Andrade is like you said about Barbosa. I think she's starting to fade away a little bit. She's not insanely old, but I think she's starting to be on her way out. Uh, I think she's relies too much on that one punch power, which I will say she's one of the few people in women's MMA that has that wow power still with her hands. I don't really see her having an advantage in anything besides maybe slightly more crisp boxing than Lupita Godinez and the power aspect. But grappling is Lupita. I think technicality is Lupita. Movements Lupita. So I'm gonna side with the side of Godinez, but I think you can get a better number live. But I'm just
Oh, Mike picking a girl.
no, I always pick a
Mike
side. That's how these shows work. But I'm
Mike's
not
in on
betting
the
on her.
girl.
I ain't betting on her.
Oh,
um, maybe like 3 minutes into the fight. That's probably about it. I'll bet it live if it looks nice, but I ain't paying minus 150 for no woman unless she's Valentina Shevchenko. or like Weili Zhang. So you would take over here.
All right, so Jessica Andrade's only path to victory is with her knockout power. Only works on like girls that are not big and built and thick. Dude, Lupi Godinez's body structure is like she's a built girl and she knows how to wrestle. She's made her career off wrestling or decisions and
Oh,
you
hot hands
know
here.
like she she may have she may have lost to like Mackenzie Dern and you know, people like that. But that's the highest level of jiu-jitsu you could ever get. Jessica Andrade has no like her. She has if she has a guard, like that's it. She'll sit. She'll just sit and guard because she doesn't know. Like I don't know. She doesn't know how to get out. She doesn't know how to roll. She doesn't shrimp. Like so, she'll just sit and guard, and Loopy will just pound on her in guard. Like she's not one of those girls that when they get you in guard or they hold you down, like aren't elbowing you. Like Loopy's elbowing you. She's nasty. I took her in the last fight. It was like finished only, or and then it goes to void if it was a decision, and it was a decision. But she was on the ground at one point and was elbowing Julia Pilastri, and I thought she was going to finish her. But yeah, overall, man, I think Lupi Godinez either sub or decision is the way to go because her ground game is just nasty, and Jessica Andrade does not have the defensive prowess to be able to escape when she's getting held down and drugged down. And like, even if she does throw like those bombs, she's short and Loopy's like tall and like big and like structured. It's hard to land a hook on someone like that. You're like actually throwing like a jump hook. So I don't see Jessica Andrade winning this fight at all.
All right, hot hand checked in. Hot hand. I'm just gonna run through really fast. Just tell me who you're siding. We'll just go through it fast. Silva, Barbosa, the girls to start the night off.
Silva and Barbosa, I think they're both extremely very like kind of the same style. I don't really see value in Silva. I liked her a lot against Aldrich until it got canceled, but I like a over or Barbosa on plus money.
All right, what about Ruziboev and Battle?
Oh, I gotta go with my boy Ruziboev, and I like a over on that fight.
All right, Barbosa and Drakkar Close. Edson Barbosa.
Uh, I'm extremely split. I lean Barbosa, but I like a over the most.
Then Chase. I've been gooning too much this camp. Hooper versus Anthony Hernandez or Alexander Hernandez.
I like Hooper. Give me his double chance decision slash sub though.
And then obviously this fight right here.
Uh, I think Andrade, the only way she's gonna win is a knockout or a sub. But I think Loopy is too good on the ground for the sub threat. So give me Loopy by decision. But I'm not touching this fight.
Yep, there we go. So we'll move on then. And we got McCall, Oleksiejczuk versus Gerald Meerschaert, and this might be the worst fight I've ever fucking seen in my life. I'm passing, but I obviously have to give a pick here, like a prediction at least. I'm gonna ride with plus money because I fucking hate McCall Oleksiejczuk, and like even though he looked really crisp against Cedric Dumas, who I don't see highly either, obviously. Um, what has changed with his takedown defense or his lack thereof or his lack of submission defense? He's been submitted 6 times in his career. His striking is crisp, but Gerald Meerschaert, we can't forget. It looked bad then, but he had a very competitive fight with RDR, who's running through everyone right now in the division. So that that holds weight for me. Like I was saying, McCall Oleksiejczuk, why are we getting minus 225 lines on him after what? After beating Cedric Dumas? Like I'm not really seeing what the reasoning is for the line. Obviously, Gerald Meerschaert's on his way out, and I think the training with fighting there it's for maybe a year for McCall, has helped him get a little bit more of his aura back. But I'm not paying -25 for McCall, Oleksiejczuk. I don't like Gerald Meerschaert either, but I think if it gets to the ground at any point, like Gerald Meerschaert has done this to like people like Edmund Shabazian and shit. Like he can easily take some punches. They're gonna at one point they're gonna clinch or some shit if he doesn't get knocked out off rip, which on some Comsdot level shit, which I'll eat my words then. But I don't know if I'm gonna bet this fight, but I'm gonna have to definitely lean with almost 2-1 on Gerald Meerschaert when he has a clear path to victory against someone who has bad submission defense, when he has the most submissions in the division. That's how I'm gonna rock here. HotHand, how do you feel?
Yeah, fucking Oleksiejczuk, whatever his name is. He looked extremely good against Dumas with his gym change with the fighting nerds. And if you look at Rodolfo Vieira's last fight, he's a grappler who changed gyms to the fighting nerds and then came out and looked good as a striker. So I think Oleksiejczuk is honestly just going to focus on takedown defense. And I don't see GM3, since he's more BJJ and not a wrestler, getting him down with ease. I know Oleksiejczuk's BJJ is pretty shit and he gets subbed a lot, but I think this new gym change is kind of bringing out someone new. And even as his striking looked a million times better against Dumas, he had the same style, the kind of flow that the fighting nerds fighters have as they strike. I like Oleksiejczuk here. I don't know if he finds the button. I feel he's going to be more careful and let the hands go, not throw the kicks as they'll get caught in the takedowns. But I think he'll let his hands go and win off volume and do more damage on the feet. Now, a live bet method of victory submission is very live here if GM3 gets him down. But I am leaning Oleksiejczuk here, KO/decision, but I am looking for a sub live bet if GM3 secures the takedown.
Unk.
I'm just taking Meerschaert's money line because Ola Jess McCall's sub defense is god awful. I watched him get his arm broken in New Jersey last year, when Kevin Holland did it. And all right, yeah, he went to the fighting nerds. I mean, if he comes out and like is now a striking guy, like, all right, well, then there's new tape and new film on him. But everything that we've seen, okay, yeah, his movement or whatever was a little bit better in the last fights. But Meerschaert's not the best offensive wrestler, but like he has trips and all types of different type of ways to get you to the mat or sub you. So I'm just taking Meerschaert's money line, and like the threat of that he's durable, because like I don't count the Hamzat fight. So the fact that Meerschaert's durable and has 3 rounds to be able to grab this guy who sucks at defending submissions, and Meerschaert's like he's like a legit like second degree black belt or something like that. So I don't have his pedigree in front of me, but it's legitimate. I mean, we've seen that against RDR and everything else. So yeah, I'm going with Meerschaert, his money line.
All right, so a little split here, but obviously, uh, I'm saying stay away from this fight. That's on you guys though. But we're gonna push to the next bout. I believe the next fight on the card is it's Diego Ferreira versus King Green. My graphics are a little glitchy right now, but King Green, Diego Ferreira, another retirement home fight. King the Meme Green, as I like to call him, after getting put on TikTok reels, Instagram reels, fucking YouTube shorts, everywhere you can imagine. He's been put in the last year or so after getting choked out by Paddy the Baddy and his arm broken, and then sent to the shadow realm by Marisa Rufi. Then you have Diego Ferreira. He has power in his hands. He has some grappling on his base. He has knocked out some people. He's slow in my opinion. He has some looping overhands that might be something in this fight, but this fight I think I might want to stay away from even more than the Oleksiejczuk fight. Like if I had to pick one of them, I'm probably betting on Gerald Meerschaert before I want to pick on Bobby Green right here, or King Green. I can see Bobby Green having a way to go down and like use his usual technical outbox style against Diego Ferreira. But I think Ferreira might be able to dip into some takedowns. Uh, Bobby Green's durability is obviously in question now. He's been put down not just by the spinning wheel kick. Jalen Turner did him super foul. So there's been question marks on his chin for a little bit now. And as he's getting older, it's still there. I think that he has enough speed to get away from Diego Ferreira in the boxing realm. I probably give a slight lean to Bobby Green, but it's like super slight. And it's not even. Like, it's like a 50-50 spot here. I'm not paying minus 160 on a 40-year-old fighter, especially not Diego Ferreira, who has super holes in his game. I think that he might be. I think this fight, I kind of like the over under, looking at it at under 2.5. Because I think that Bobby Green's durability is a question mark, and I also think Diego Ferreira's durability could also be a question mark, as they're both susceptible to being put down and knocked out or finished. So, I'm trying to like think overall of what to take here. I'm looking at the round prop. Yeah, under 2.5 at minus 105. You can take a shot there. Maybe fight not to go the distance. But if Bobby Green wins, it'll probably be to the decision. But I don't really know what to look for in this fight. I hate it. They're both should not be in the UFC in my opinion. Uh, I'm not paying minus 160 for Diego Ferreira at 40 years old, and I'm not betting on King Green no matter what his odds are. So take that as you guys may. We're probably gonna have to play with some round props. Maybe a Diego Ferreira takedown prop will be in order, depending on what that line is. That's a look. Uh, round two to start. But if I'm taking it under, it's probably not the best way to do it. But I don't know. This fight has stay away written all over it for me. How do you feel about it, Unc?
Taking under two and a half at well, it's minus 120 on DraftKings, so I'll probably jump over to a different book to get a better line. But under 2.5, they're both old as hell. Diego Ferreira has crazy overhand right and just wants to get in there and throw bombs. King Green has a big ego, man, and after all them losses and all that other BS, he's going to be trying to get his loss back and not be timid, and under 2.5 is the way to go. If I absolutely have to, King Green's fighting style, he keeps his hands at his sides. It's a modified Philly shell. He rolls with the shots. He tries to counter strike as the person enters, and he relies on his ability to be able to shoulder roll to not take damage. Diego Ferreira's fighting style is he tries to crash in heavy with like big overhand rights and get within short distance to grapple, or he'll try to box in the pocket. With that said, if I had to pick one, absolutely, I'm gonna take Diego Ferreira to land like a crazy overhand big right on King Green trying to like show off, or like that shoulder roll after you take those knockouts is not as fluid as it used to be. So I don't know. Diego Ferreira if I had to take one, but I'm taking the under 2.5.
Hot hand.
Yeah, I think Green is going to be more alive on the feet than Ferreira. I think Ferreira is more of the powerhouse, looks for big shots, but I think Green's going to be quicker here. I think he'll be in and out of the pocket more, but I feel Ferreira is going to work in the wrestling against Green, and I think with him shooting takedowns, it's going to open up the strikes, and he'll eventually start landing the bigger shots if he works in the wrestling. So I like a live bet situation here once I get a readout on the feet. I think both of them are durable. I mean, not Green. Green's chin has been pretty fucking cracked, but I think Ferreira is extremely durable. If you rewatch him and Rebecca, he took a beating until Rebecca gassed, and then he put it on him. But I'm gonna have to go with Ferreira here as my lean, just based off if he's gonna work the wrestling in, where I feel he does have the advantage. But like I said, this is a live read type of bet.
Yep, I agree with that. Live or pass. And before we move on to the main card, our usual, this is brought to you by the Fade Factory Discord, our free community, and MMA Gems, our paid section in there for those extra picks. It's pretty much what me, HotHand, and Unker completely actually dialing in what we want you to tail from us, not just prediction and overall analysis like you're getting in these videos. 11 consecutive profitable cards for us. Our last non-profitable card was Bilal Muhammad, and I think we got cooked on Bilal Muhammad because we forgot that he was a world class kickboxer. But let's not bask on that. 11 profitable cards consecutive. If you're looking at some of the other MMA communities around, you're not touching those numbers or that type of consistency. And that's not even our only sport. We have NFL coming up. We have models in various sports. We have darts cappers, rugby cappers, esports cappers. Everywhere you can find an edge, where they're finding an edge. So you guys, if you guys been here, you know already. Get right or get left. And we'll start this off with Kai Asakura versus Tim Elliott. So my read here when I was first looking at the card without tape, I was like, oh, this is a layup fight for Kai Asakura. This is him being set up because they did him kind of foul, just bringing him in and having him fight Pantoja, a down away class without any cage or UFC experience. And they're like, all right, we're gonna give you Tim Elliott now and try to get you back on the rebound. And then I look and I'm watching the tape and I'm just thinking, so Tim Elliott has beaten guys like Tagir Ulanbekov, has fought for a belt before, um, has only been knocked out one time in his entire career, and it was in 2009. It was so long ago that Tapology doesn't even have knockout; it just has loss. Like it was 2009. Like I was 9 or 10 years old. Like this guy has that. I don't even count that towards his chin. I think he's extremely durable. He has, I think, either the number one or number two most takedowns in flyweight history. So he's been around forever. He's versatile. He has a chin. Uh, and you have Kai Asakura. Obviously, he's bigger. Usually fighting at 135. Tim Elliott has fought at 135 before too. That actually his last fight was at 135, I believe, one fight or 2 fights ago. But so he's fought at 135 as well, even though he's a natural 125er. Asakura, very flashy striker with the high knees up the middle. But I think he leaves a lot to be desired in the striking defense realm, where he leaves his head without movement. He's getting dropped in some of these Ryzen fights. If you watch, he's getting dropped by some very questionable competition. He's lost to some questionable guys. I do like him, but to throw him up here, like with some of the top in the division, without letting him get seasoned up, he probably wins this fight on the cards, if I have to guess, as my prediction. But I am not gonna be shocked at all if Tim Elliott beats him after what I've watched. I'm not sold on Asakura. I don't think he'll ever be a champ. I don't think he has all the tools. Takedown defense is but like I can't even rate his takedown defense as much with being in. I guess you can give it a little bit better with Ryzen with the ropes and stuff like that because you can use the cage for momentum and leverage. But I don't know. I'm gonna lean Kai Asakura by decision here. But I think Tim Elliott has a lot of value, and I think like a +7.5, +5.5 spread um could be in order. I don't really think that he gets knocked out. I don't. I know Asakura is sharp with the striking, but unless Tim Elliott loses fight IQ or gets caught with a knee up the middle going in, that's where I think he can get caught. A +3.5 for Tim Elliott is +110. You're getting plus money for the spread, and +7.5 is -135 on +7.5. So I think there's value on that. I think there's value on an over. I don't think Kai finds the shot, but I do think that he'll get the benefit of the doubt on a robbery on the cards if it's close enough. So I won't tell you to go take Tim Elliott with like a full unit or anything. But how do you feel about this one, Unk or Hot Hand? Doesn't matter.
Well, I've I watched so many Tim Elliott fights. I know his exact style. I know how he fights. I mean, I you know, Asakura, I did go back and watch the tape because you made a good point about not fighting in the cage and being in Ryzen and being in the ring and shit. Um, and I think it was foul how they gave him Pantoja, but like if you are coming in the UFC and you're going to take a loss, I think that's the very best way that you could take a loss. You're fighting for the championship belt against the best guy. You know, he wasn't winning, but he was doing some crazy stuff. And I think, I don't think he's going to be a champion or anything like that, but I think that he is a good enough, we'll call him a prospect because this will be his second UFC fight. He's a good enough prospect though that he's gonna piece up Tim Elliott. And like, yeah, Pantoja got him, but he constantly keeps moving. Like he every time Pantoja got his hips, other than when he got hit against the fence, Asakura was like spinning, using underhooks to change the position. Um, like he just constantly is moving, and Tim Elliott, I don't think has the uh, like. I don't want to say gas tank, but like for 3 rounds to be chasing Kai down, while Kai's like throwing crazy strikes and all types of stuff. So I'm taking Kai Asakura. I want to kind of see what the decision is on the KO/decision. I more lean towards the decision than anything though, because Tim Elliott is tough as nails. But like, I think he's gonna get beat to hell trying to chase this guy around the ring. And um, like, yeah, Pantoja did get him down, but he clipped him in the face and then took him down against the fence and stuff like that. Like when he was semi not dazed, he was moving like wild crazy, and that movement, I don't think Tim Elliott just has it to be able to be the one step ahead guy in this match. So that's my opinion.
HotHand.
Yeah, I think Tim Elliott being 38 hasn't fought in 2 years. He's gonna have to fight jitters. I feel like if he wants to win this fight, he's gonna have to be in Kai Asakura's face and trying to push the pace and clinch and rack up time against the cage and secure takedowns. But I think Asakura is just going to be too strong. He's going to be too fast. He's younger, and he has all crafty tools in the bag. Like if you rewatch him in Pantoja, first 10 seconds he ran across the cage and fucking fired a knee that landed. It sounded like a fucking baseball bat. So I mean, I think Kai Asakura is going to have the right game plan. He's accustomed to the UFC now. His only loss is Pantoja in the UFC, and I mean, he just made Kai Kara France look like a kid out there. So, I mean, understandably, you can't really take that Pantoja loss into anything. But I feel Tim Elliott is just out of his prime. He's too old. Kai Asakura is going to be the way stronger fighter, and he's going to be a lot faster, and I think we'll see that. I feel Kai Asakura is going to have to put Tim Elliott on the back foot, though, to kind of counter the takedowns because if Elliott's pushing the pace, he's going to be able to secure takedowns, possibly if he gets the body lock or any of that. But I feel Kai Asakura is going to come out, push the pace, and unload on the feet. I don't really see a KO unless it's going to be a knee. I feel he's going to try and predict those shot takedowns, clinch attempts, and counter them with knees. But I like Kai Asakura by KO or decision, but I am leaning Asakura by decision.
Yep. So we're all pretty much on Asakura by decision. I'm just a little more cautious. So we'll move on to another bout. I like this one. MVP versus Jared Cannonier. Uh, this is at 185. MVP says politics are keeping him out of 170. And you have Jared Cannonier, got an upset victory after getting his ass whooped and coming back against the Gaff RoboCop on a main event. Uh,
Hey, before we go any further, did you see today that there's rumors that this is off? Because if you pull up,
it was just a glitch. If you actually did, yeah, I looked into it. It didn't
okay,
even make sense. Yeah, the guy hasn't fought since like 2022.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure because like I have my reads for Cannonier. Okay, just
No.
go ahead. Sorry, Mike.
Michael Venom Page, that obviously that creative striker from the outside, in and out of range, great kicks, great strikes, great timing. And you have Jared Cannonier, a lot of power, has some grappling in his game. Um, but most of all, he's looking to land that shot. He's pretty durable too, but he's looking to land that power shot. And when this first got announced, I did have questions, or if MVP is gonna be able to maintain, or is he going to be able to handle the power at 185 with Jared Cannonier? And it is something to think about. Um, I just don't know if Jared Cannonier is going to be able to close the distance enough when, like, Michael Venom Page against Ian Gary. Like, Ian Gary is a super slick and like movement based striker, and he was having trouble tracking down um Michael Page. So I'm not really too I'm not really too concerned with Jared Cannonier being able to track him down. Obviously, he has that one punch power. That's going to be a given. I just think Michael Page is going to be way sharper and moving around on his bicycle and hitting him from the outside and just putting everything out there. Obviously, Jared Cannonier can hurt him at any point, but I'm going to lean with Michael Page here on a decision. Maybe a late finish if Jared Cannonier starts to gas a little bit. But I don't think he's going to put himself that much in harm's way to try to get a kill shot. I think he's going to get this one out there on points. Um, hot hand or how do you feel? How do you feel?
Yeah, I think MVP is gonna dance all over the octagon and stay out of range and just be in and out of the pocket against Cannonier. Cannonier fought heavyweight. I don't think he's really going to want to try and feel those haymakers coming back from Cannonier. But I do think MVP is going to stay out of the pocket, stay at kickboxing range, and just tag him up. I like a over on this fight a lot too. I feel the only way Cannonier is going to win is if he knocks him out. But I think that's like a 10% chance, if that. I feel MVP is just going to dance his way to a decision and get in and out of the pocket. The only thing that scares me is if Cannonier decides to grapple, because I think he is going to take MVP down 100%. I think Cannonier is just he has the perfect frame to take someone down like MVP, especially if he gets him against the cage in a clinch and gets a body lock or even shoots as MVP's entering the pocket. So if I see Cannonier start grappling, I will be kind of iffy, but I am big on MVP in this fight. I like for a straight bet his decision or a over, but I do like his money line for a parlay piece as well.
And before you go, I want to say something to what Hothan was saying about the takedown defense of Michael Page. One thing I did know, and I didn't say when I was speaking, he was stuffing the shit out of Logan Storley's takedowns, and we've been seeing Logan Storley on the PFL championship circuit right now, and he's a legit grappler. So Michael Page was stuffing the absolute shit out of his shots. Cause I just put that in my notes. I just wanted to add that for food for thought for people who are listening. How do you feel?
Well, Jared Cannonier, I'm very familiar with. If you remember, I said that we should absolutely hammer him against RoboCop, and we all cashed that big that night when he KO'd RoboCop. So I've been familiar with Cannonier since when he fought heavyweight, and then he eventually came down to middleweight. Um, I'm gonna take Cannonier, his spread in this fight. I first looked at Cannonier by KO or Michael Page by decision because I think that is the two methods of victory that will happen in this fight. And those odds on DraftKings are like minus 170. Cannonier's spread plus 3.5 is minus 165. So I'm going to lean and go with Cannonier's spread. But for like overall, who I think wins the fight, I think Michael Page will win a decision. Um, but Cannonier, like from the very second the bell starts, he's live for a decision because I've seen him put out a bunch of people. Like I bring up the Jack Hermanson fight years ago. Like Jack Hermanson was on top, bro. He was supposed to be in and out of the pocket real quick, have these different type of ways of getting a Cannonier. Cannonier clubbed him like 2 times, put him on skates, and knocked him out. So he's always live for a KO. So I'm taking his spread, though, which is minus 165 on DraftKings.
Yeah, I don't hate the line on the spread. I could see the 30-27, but at the same time, Jared Cannonier could land the bigger shots, the more powerful shots that actually hurt Michael Page. We'll keep it pushing, and we'll go to Carlos Prates versus Jeff Neal, and we're back here at Prates after we faded him heavy with Ian Gary. Now I'm gonna hop back on the Prates hype train. I'm gonna take him against Jeff Neal here. I think that his Muay Thai striking and his power and that piston hand. I just think Jeff Neal doesn't fit the characteristics of a style of fighter that will beat Carlos Prates in a 3-rounder. Like Ian Gary fit the exact description. Like MVP fits the description. But like a guy who can move around, stay on his bicycle, and not go tick for tat with Prates like that Muay Thai style, kick for a kick, punch for a punch. This Prates is willing to take one to land that big hand. He can turn the lights off whenever. I just think Jeff Neal's too linear in his movement. I don't think he's moving around on his bicycle enough. I think he's gonna be, even if because these are both pressure forward fighters. Even if he has Prates on the back foot, I think he's gonna be moving way too straight. He's not gonna be moving side to side. He's gonna be coming right down the pipe, and I think Carlos Prates is gonna land something big. And I'm not sure if he's gonna get him out of there, but I probably lean Carlos Prates, and in this one with a knockout. I'm I'm on Carlos Prates. That's actually gonna be my submission for the podcast collab parlay at the end. Is Carlos Prates money line, or I might look into a double chance while you guys are talking to make the odds a little better. But Unk, take over.
So, like, I don't want to bet this fight because after Jeff Neal got the DUI and then showed up like 2 weeks later, and it was Luque or one of them guys he smashed into oblivion.
Let's not compare Vicente Luque to Carlos Prates.
No, that was Dos Nachos, Rafael Dos Nachos.
That's even worse.
No, that's not when he got the DUI. It was either Luque or Ponzinibbio.
Those are
And
both bums.
This is years ago, though. This is when they were. So I said after that happened, the dude can brawl, and he obviously has a high fight IQ because he can show up and do that shit. And I think Prates wins the fight, but I don't think he sleeps Neal. And I don't know what I think I'm gonna abstain from a bet. I mean, if I had to pick something, Carlos Prates by KO or decision is minus 225. But like, yeah, man, I don't know. I think like Carlos Prates can beat the shit out of you, and his movement is a lot better and everything. But I think like overall, I think Jeff Neal has like that little bit of like, well, I can settle myself down, try to get this kid into some clinch positions, you know.
That's
So,
close.
but I think Prates wins the fight. It's just like I don't know. After the whole shit where he went on the rant, the tyrant, then after like getting arrested and all that other shit, I was like, well, this guy's mentally solid, and his fight tactics in the ring are very, very solid. Prates' tactics in the ring is like a car crash. So, once again, I'm not gonna bet this fight, but if I had
But
to
you're
take a
gonna
bet,
have
it would
to, cause
be
it's on the
Carl.
collab.
Yeah, you took it on the collab. So there we go.
All right, hot hand.
Yeah,
Hot
this
hand.
fight,
Yep.
this fight scares me. Based on both fighters, that they tend to march forward and they do best as they're moving forward and not on the back foot. And I feel with Prates' style of trying to keep range and using the kickboxing range and his long limbs, it's going to be hard to really push a pocket boxer like Jeff Neal and try and keep the range on him, because I feel that Jeff Neal will bite down on the mouth guard and throw those 3-4 piece boxing combinations that are gonna land bigger strikes than Prates is gonna land, I feel. But I feel Prates is gonna be a lot quicker, and as long as he maintains the range and could use his reach and his kicks against Neal's boxing, that he should be good. If Neal decides to work in wrestling though and clinch, I feel he'll have the advantage there. But I don't see him really trying to get the fight to the ground. I see it more of clinch to try and land strikes from the clinch and exit out right in the boxing range. But I feel Prates is going to win this fight, but I feel the line should be a little bit closer. But I do like Prates KO/decision. I just don't like paying -250 for him in a fight with or against someone with the kind of, I feel, the style that Jeff Neal has.
All right, so we'll keep it pushing. And then we'll go to the co-main event in the evening. We got Aaron Pico taking on Lerone Murphy. Aaron Pico finally here in the UFC after all these years of hype. Obviously, I think it was one match away from making the U.S. Olympic team for wrestling. One of the best wrestlers up and coming in the nation at one point. Then translates over to MMA, gets knocked out, all the hype goes away, starts building himself back up. Has some wins and losses inside Bellator. I think it was I get Bellator and PFL confused now, but Bellator, and then Lerone Murphy. I think undefeated or 16-0-1 prospect. Grinding main events recently. Just he beat Josh Emmett. He beat Edson Barbosa. The competition isn't even comparable between the two. What this fight for me, as it keeps getting steeper and steeper, makes me want to stay away. I'm not gonna be the guy like Patchy Mix, Patchy Mix people that hammered that it was a lock off the rip. I want to see these guys at this level, so I'm not gonna pay nothing on Aaron Pico. I do think Aaron Pico wins, just because I've seen Lerone Murphy's grappling, and I think it's kind of shit, in my opinion. Like Josh Emmett was throwing him over his fucking head, could have threw him out the cage, like, and then he's getting taken down by fucking Dan Ige. Like, so I think Aaron Pico's 1,000,000,000,000% taking him down. And Lerone Murphy didn't look great trying to get back up from some of Josh Emmett's takedowns. So Aaron Pico's way better than him. Like, obviously, I don't see Lerone Murphy as a huge knockout power type of guy. He is going to stick the jab out there. He is going to counter back. He is better than every single person that Aaron Pico's ever fought. I'm not paying on Aaron Pico here. But I do think he wins the fight on a decision, and I also think he has prospect boost. Even though Lerone Murphy's undefeated, I think Aaron Pico's name and the oohs and ahs and the spectacle of him coming in here, if I think he can get the robbery win, even if it's close enough on the cards. Lerone Murphy, people have came at him for his boring style on a plethora of occasions. So I don't know. I'm gonna lean Aaron Pico here. I don't really know about the betting situation yet. I don't really think he finishes Murphy, so a Murphy spread could be in order since the line's getting wider, and you can probably get that at a decently good price. But I'm gonna lean Pico to win here on the cards as my prediction or lean. How about you, Unc?
Well, Pico plus 3.5 is -165 right now. His
Hey, you mean Murphy?
plus,
Murphy plus 3.5?
yeah, sorry, Murphy. His plus 5.5 is -205, and that's probably what I'm gonna play overall. Is Murphy plus 5.5 because, like, all right, I have a personal bias against Aaron Pico, so I absolutely want to see him fight in the UFC and see how he does. Like, when he came on the scene, he was supposed to clean out Bellator and then go over to UFC and clean them out. I looked up his record and went back and made sure that I'm talking about the same guy. He's only ever fought one person that I've ever heard of. He fought Henry Corrales twice. Like, I don't know, man. I'm not getting caught up in the patchy mix thing. Like, I think this is a repeat. I think Murphy can beat him easily due to his boring style and him keeping his head and not being reckless. And Aaron Pico, he just like he lost early on, and they just spoon fed him these like no name loser guys. Like yeah, he just never lived up to the hype. Leon Murphy been around for a couple fights, and he's like what 14-0, 11-0, or something like that. 16-0. Jesus, 16-0. So I'll take Leron Murphy plus 5.5 at like minus 200.
What are you feeling for your prediction? Like you lean on it.
Uh, I really think Murphy wins the fight because I really think he can clean up Aaron Pico. Like I just that they inflated that kid's head, and he's never really been like battle tested. And the guys he's been battle tested against are guys that we would watch on the undercards or the very first prelims of UFC. So give me Leron Murphy to get the win.
All right, hot hand.
Yeah, I mean it's been a constant repeat of these PFL or Bellator or all these other cats coming to the UFC arguably winning the fight. Like if you look at Kuniev against Blades, but they still get robbed, or they give these fighters hard matchups when they're coming over. And I feel that's Dana trying to prove that the UFC is the best organization, and he wants his fighters to stand out. That's why I feel they gave him Movsar Evloev off rip, because Movsar's wrestling is a lot more superior than Aaron Pico's. But I feel even if Pico does win, that they're going to give it to Murphy, even if it's close, just based off making the UFC fighter look good. But I do like Murphy's style here. Pico has nice boxing in the pocket, but Murphy is not going to stay there and exchange in the pocket with him. And he is very athletic, so I feel that will help with some of the takedown defense. I do think Pico is a lot better wrestler, but I feel Murphy has the style, like Unc said, to beat Pico. I think he's going to land the more shots at range. I feel he's going to involve the kicks. I feel he's going to throw the jab out a lot to keep distance. And I don't really see Pico landing anything big unless he's just trying to storm into the pocket and luckily catches him with an overhand. So I don't, or backs him up into the cage and unload. But I feel Murphy's going to have good octagon control and stay in the center. So give me Leon Murphy at plus money, and I do like the spread at plus 5.5 that Unc called out as well. And I do like a over for this fight as well.
All right, so 2 out of 3 on the dog. I'm not betting Aaron Pico. I think the value is all on Leron Murphy, but I envision crotch sniff W for the new UFC debut, and then you got the main event of the evening. Fuck, I forgot the falling piano, Unc. Um,
Come on.
we got Hamza Chimaev taking on plot armor Dricus
Oh,
Duplessis,
the wolf.
and then you got Dricus obviously with um his anvil that's gonna fall through the octagon, and then the gun that he's gonna pull out mid round, and he's gonna point it at Kamza, and he's gonna shoot, and it's gonna have a bang flag on it. And then Herb Dean's gonna unzip himself, and it's gonna be another Dricus Duplessis popping out. So no, but jokes aside, Hamza Chimaev, Chechen, I think he stuck asylum or whatever. I forget what country it is, Sweden, whatever. I don't know, but
Yeah,
train
Sweden.
trains with some of the best in the world. I saw him training with that Russian gold medalist heavyweight wrestler, and he was stuffing his shots and shit. Um, so you know what you're getting with Hamza. You're getting automatic pressure. You're getting automatic strength, grappling, and you also know you might be getting a fading guy in the later rounds, as we've seen. But he's still been there. Um, a lot of people pull up the Gilbert Burns or the Usman fight, and that's really valid. But he won both of them. Then you have Dricus Duplessis on the other side, who is very well rounded, but he's unique in his style, wacky, throwing 2 jabs at once with both hands, like stupid shit. That's what made him pretty much his name as people see him now. He's plot armor. He don't even know what the fuck he's gonna do when he's in there. The thing is for me, they're like everyone's the whole thing for everyone pretty much is comms are gonna get him out there early, and if not, Dricus is gonna use his cardio and his pace take over the later rounds and win the fight. I think that Khamzat is going to get to him. I think the wrestling is going to be on a completely different stratosphere. He's training with the best in the world, literally the best in the world. Heavyweight gold medal wrestlers. We just saw a guy on Tuesday come out of Khamzat's camp, one of his top sparring partners, and he did one of the best performances we've ever seen on there. Front kick had the dude screaming for his mother. So we know that he's training with all killers, best in the world. Jiu-Jitsu Plessis, yes, he's training with great people. He has great. He's well rounded. I think he's better than a lot of people give him credit for. I do think he's one of the better welterweight champs that we actually have seen. I think he's better than Israel Adesanya has ever been, and we saw that in that fight. But I do think that he's been paired up against some people that are beneficial stylistically against him. You're getting against Sean Strickland, who's a striker, who was able to take him down at will. Israel Adesanya, striker, able to take him down at will. Rob Whittaker, yeah, they both fought Khamzat Chimaev. He's not taking down Robert Whittaker at will. They were boxing. But then you look at he struggled for. I know he ended up beating Darren Till. He struggled in that matchup with Darren Till, and people like forget that ever happened. Like he actually struggled in the beginning of that fight with Darren Till. That shit is ingrained in my mind after watching it. And for that, fuck, Hamza Chimaev got a good ass line. I don't even know. I didn't even think about him being the lock. But Hamza Chimaev, I'm going with him all the way. Submission. I can see it going maybe to the later rounds and him stealing some rounds. But I think that it's going to be a completely different level. I think he's going to get Dricus early. It's going to be, like I said, a different level of grappling. I think he's going to fucking strangle him. That's my prediction. Hamza via strangulation. Take over.
Man, Dricus, I really don't like him, but let me break down how he's the champion. He has no style, so you can't prepare for him. He did okay. Look at Wonder Boy. He's a kickboxer, right? It's not Dricus. Look at D-Rod. He's a boxer, not Dricus. Look at Muay Thai guys with the front. You know, you raise your front leg to protect against the kick and for teeps, not Dricus. Look at wrestlers. They do that like bounce thing from the left to right when they go to shoot, not Dricus. Look at the Dagestanis. They have that pressure thing where they pressure wrestle and then try to grind you out, not Dricus. He just does weird striking that is just it's blitzes and like Homer Simpson double punches and excuse me, just really weird stuff. So you put Strickland in there, who's the perfect. His boxing is like tactician, man. He has the best Philly shell of anybody in MMA I've ever seen. You put the tactician in there, Dricus beats him twice. You put Israel in there, the creative god of kickboxing and every type of strike, Dricus beats him. You put Whittaker in there, who has the blitz, but wrestling at the same, gets knocked out. Like, there is the Darren Till, who was a bigger, taller opponent, but what has Dricus not fought yet? A guy that's going to go 100 miles per hour from that bell rings and is going to be grappling him, bro. Like, Dricus is used to being like, oh, let me fade in and punch in and feint in and then pull a takedown, or when there's an awkward angle, let me try to grab something. Dude, Hamzat's going to just rip him, body slam him, and like, good luck, Dricus. Good luck, man. Like, you never faced nobody like this guy before. This is the killer. This is the boogeyman. This is the man that comes to kill people. Like, this is the wolf. And Chimaev by submission, but Mike, since you already took Prates, I'm taking Chimaev as my lay in the line because I'm not losing this week. So Chimaev is my addition to the parlay money line. But I play Chimaev under like 3 rounds.
I think
He'll get him out of
under
it.
20.5 minutes is -1. Like if you parlay Hamza Chimaev money line and under 20 and a
Yeah.
half minutes on DraftKings, so it's like under 4 rounds would probably be the actual line. But -125 it gets you to.
Well, there you go. We're taking that. We're pouring money on that. He's gonna rip him to shreds, man. The people talk about this fight and that fight. Hamzat went back and got his old head coaches. The one guy coached Fedor partially and is like a legend, or coached a guy that Fedor competed against, and it was like close. Hamzat went and got that guy and went back and is with that guy, and like he's coming to kill. So that's my pick.
All right, clean it up, hot hand.
First I got a question. Did Kamzat go back to Sweden for his training camp?
I'm not
Because
even.
ESPN it's showing All Stars Training Center with Goofuston.
I
So
know.
that's that. So I know that he did part of it in uh Serbia or one of those because he got his old coach, or maybe Chechnya, one of those parts. But
All right, I have it up right here. For his
okay,
current camp,
we're
he's trained in multiple spots, but it says one uh, Olympic training base, Kisoslavsk, Russia. That's where he's been training with
that
that gold medalist guy. And
that's the old that's he's up
Yeah,
there with the
he's
old coach.
by
and
the
he
way, he is the best wrestler of all time.
and yeah, and he's also been he's actually been, oh yeah, I saw this. He's been at the California Garage for his strength and conditioning with Sal Calavita, the guy who with TJ Dillashaw, his old conditioning coach and shit. He's been doing his conditioning over in California with Aaron Pico. So that's that. Yeah, it doesn't say he's been
That,
over in Sweden. That's probably just like old, because I know
Oh
ESPN
yeah.
sometimes a bit back. But yeah, it says that he's been training in Russia and California for his camp. He might be checking in over there, but I know he's been training with that Olympic level goat wrestler. So
yeah, and I can't think of that guy's name, the wrestling coach, but he's like old school, like Soviet Union type crap, and
Yeah,
that's
he was training the Russians during the Soviet Union for the Olympics. Dude's legit
yeah,
as fuck.
that's the coach.
Yeah, he's very legit. But I mean, I'm big on the Borg here. I'm a big Hamzat fan. But the only thing that scares me is his gas tank in a 5 round fight against someone. I mean, he has a good wrestling background. He's pretty built, so I feel Kamzat's gonna have to use a lot of energy to get these takedowns. I feel like he isn't just gonna do like what he did to Whitaker, take the back and then fucking crush his jaw. But Kamzat is a way better wrestler and way better mixed martial artist when it comes to anything on the ground. The only thing that scares me is if he doesn't find that early finish, we're going to see him fade. And he doesn't have the best movements. And I feel that's when Dracus's blitz, if it's on the feet, are going to be effective and he's going to get tagged up a lot. So I'm very, very iffy on this fight. I'm leaning Dracus just based off Comdot's cardio. But then I seen Kamzat a little bit ago, and in my opinion, he isn't looking as big. He's looking more lean, like more 5 round ready rather than a 3 round. So if he's been working on the cardio and he comes out well paced and not blitzing the entire time, I would like a Kamzat live bet. But if we see him early start to fade away, and I think Kamzat's easily going to secure rounds 1 and 2. But after then, if DDP survives, I'm going to be looking to live bet DDP probably at crazy numbers, considering he'll be down 2 rounds. But like I said, this fight is I'm going to have to read it off the rip because I don't like Kamzat's cardio coming in. I feel we could catch DDP at crazy numbers after round 2. And yeah, I mean, I'm leaning DDP though, but Kamzat's cardio is in question for me.
yeah. Uh, what do you have for your pick for the parlay? We got parlay
Ooh,
time.
ooh, ooh. Let me look. Let me look.
Unk has Hamzat. I have Carlos Prates by knockout or decision. I can already have a guess of who I feel like you're gonna take.
It's not
Yo,
Kaya Sakura.
Now, now.
yo, while he's looking, I just want to double down though. I mean, I know you're talking about Hamzat's gas tank, but like, I don't know. I didn't think he looked winded in the Usman fight, and like I said, he's been back with the old school, like Soviet Union Russian head training. So I'm very interested to see if we see a more conditioned Hamzat in this fight.
I don't
So
think
The
it's gonna
thing,
matter for his conditioning. 'Cause I think he's gonna fucking kill him in under 7.5 minutes. That's my opinion now. I don't think we're gonna have to talk about the conditioning when he gets choked the fuck out.
the
that's a
thing
great.
that's
I'm
the
rolling
thing
with it.
that scares me is like Kamzat muscles his takedowns. Like he gets these body locks and he's lifting him up and carrying him halfway across the cage and then getting the takedown, or he's really working, or or in scrambles it's more of muscle to the position rather than slickness and speed to the position, which DDP has an amazing gas tank for 185. So that's what scares me if he doesn't find that early sub, if he's going to drain out, because I feel if that Usman fight went 5 rounds, he would have lost that.
I,
Usman was on short notice, and it was at it was 185, so Usman was up a weight class. So I feel if Khamzat doesn't find that early submission, that it's going to be wraps for him, honestly.
Yeah, I got you.
you know,
I just want to
I,
point out Darren Till took down Dricus Duplessis. I just want to point that out real quick.
and I also want to say, yeah, while you're looking for your pick, I completely get that because he's not like jujitsu is like rolling and then attacking the position. Hamzat does not know how to roll. It's just all muscle fiber grip, go 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 go. So yeah, I hope he slows down a little bit. But yeah, I think he's gonna get the takedown off rip, and then hopefully he settles in and works for a submission.
Yeah.
You got your pick?
Yeah. Give me MVP KO
I
slash
guessed it.
decision.
I literally guessed that exactly. It was gonna be MVP. I knew it was gonna be
Yeah,
that.
I
Yeah,
like MVP a lot in this. I do like the Cannonier spread as well, but I don't think he wins the decision. So I personally rather take Cannonier at KO at better odds and then just hedge that like with
yeah.
MVP, or MVP in a parlay, and then hedge it with Cannonier by KO as a straight.
All right, yeah. So that gets us to plus 211 on the 3-leg parlay. I'll run it back for you guys real quick. It's Carlos Prates to win by knockout or decision, double chance. I guess you can take money lines on these two since it's going to be slightly different than odds, but you're getting value here on a 3-legger. So, Prates just double chance. Hamzat Chimaev money line via Unk. First one was me, and then as you just heard, hot hand Michael Venom Page by knockout or decision. That gets us that plus 211 on the 3-leg community parlay. Hopefully we can get this one, and we'll be seeing you guys at the cash counter. I'm happy you guys popped in again earlier this week. It made you some money. Hopefully we can make you some money here. We're doing it a day early because I'm heading down to the beach, so we didn't have all of our takedown lines, spread lines. That's what Gems is for. That's what the Fight Factory is for. When those are dropping, we're gonna be dropping them in chat. We're gonna be dissecting them. So that's why you join the link in the description for the free cord. You're gonna get all of our reads, and we'll be seeing you at the cash counter. You guys got anything to say as a parting message before I cut us?
Yeah, this card is absolutely fucking cash. So I mean, you're just pretty much robbing yourself. It's $10 a month. That's literally a hoagie from the corner store. You could spare that for a day and make some money off of it. So get in Gems if you want your money right.
Thanks for listening in. And if DDP wins against Hamzat, holy shit, man.
Via
We're in like
accident.
we're in a weird rip of the MMA multiverse right now. But thanks for listening in. Unk out.
Yep, we'll see you guys at the cash counter.